Eyes on me when I run, stacking wins, I'm never done. On the field, I'm number one. Pressure heavy, weigh a ton.
Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. Look, apologies first of all because I missed yesterday. First day in a long time I've not streamed and I missed everybody. It felt like something was missing. But anyway, I'm back today and there's lots and lots to discuss. Man United's win at the weekend against Crystal Palace. We've got that to discuss. We've got AFCON as well. Mazraoui, Ahmad and Mbeumo. What's going on? Are they going? Are they not? Big things coming up. And of course, we're going to talk about the fallout or informative things that we have to discuss after the game about Lenny Euro. What's going on with him? Is he going to recover from having been taken off? I think he will. Young lad, he's going to do well. He is a class defender. Just needs to take it easy. Just take it easy. Learn from his mistakes. He's got the opportunity to learn. We know he's a class defender. We know he's going to come good. But look, playing against Mateta is not easy, and even though he was physically outdone, I still feel like once he develops, he's going to become a very, very good player. Anyway, there's so much to discuss, so much. I'm just kind of wondering where to start. Of course, we've got the midfielder options as well. There's lots of talk about midfielders coming to United. United focusing only on the midfield. That's what we're hearing. The news coming out of Man United is that they are focusing on the midfield options and only the midfield options. They don't care about anything else. They're going to be focusing on getting midfielders in. Let me go down first and let me just start first with the story on the AFCON and the players leaving. Apparently, we've got news coming out that United can hold on to Ahmad and Mbeumo and Mazraoui for another game. So they've delayed it somewhat, maybe till the Bournemouth game. I think it's a Monday night game. I'm after Everton's game. The Monday night game. I'm not in favour of playing Monday night games. It's scaring me loads. But anyway, guys, if you're just joining, make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe. If you're not a subscriber to the Man United stream channel, of course, we're bringing you daily content, apart from yesterday. But anyway, daily content on everything to do with United. I was hungover from the game. I'll be honest with you. It was emotionally draining, and I'm sure lots of Man United fans felt the same. Felt emotionally drained from the game. Having gone down 1-0 in the first half, you thought the writing was on the wall. All these panic stations. It was panic buttons. Everyone was panicking. Everyone was talking about, what is going to happen now? Are we going to go 2-3-0 down? Are we going to get battered? Are we going to get battered? But second half, the performance United put in, of course, there was a lot of chatter about Crystal Palace being tired in the second half. But I felt United up their game as well. Let's give credit where credit is due. I think the players went in there, were more aggressive and had a better half. Luke Shaw, what a player. I said it whilst I was doing the watch along. I thought he played really, really well. And across the team, I thought there was lots of good performances. Mason Mount, again, what a great performance. A player that you kind of forget that he's playing for United and he's still there grinding, working hard. You're looking at all the big names like Mbeumo, Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes, but Mason Mount, let's not be fooled. If he's fit, he is a very, very solid player to have in our team. And of course, he's going to have to step up once the boys go off to AFCON. Players like Mason Mount, Kuna, Zertsky will have to step up. And it was great to see Zertsky score. I'll be honest with you. First half, I was so angry. I was like, look, get this guy off. Get Zertsky off. He's just not, his movement's awful. His movement is so poor. He's simply not moving in the right direction. He's just not going where he needs to be. Look, for a striker, he has to play in the centre mid, in between the centre backs. That's what I believe anyway. I believe that that's what's missing in our team. We need someone who's going to be there, always in between the two centre backs, keeping them occupied so our wide attackers have got more space. If we're not keeping the centre backs occupied, then look, the centre backs are going to find it just a walk in the park. They're going to take out our wide attackers. There's ample defenders who can cope with the overload with Ahmad as well, overloading on the right wing side. So they can deal with it. But if you put someone like Sesko or Zertsky in between the two centre-backs, they're going to be occupied. They're going to be occupied with keeping him marked. They're not going to have time to go out wide and stop the attacks coming out from Ahmad or Mbuma or Kuna or Mount. That's why it's so important that we do have someone like that. And Zertsky, in the second half, I don't know whether he was instructed to do that or what, but I felt like he was really, he was further up. He was playing in that central position. So, look, will it put to bed the whole rumours about Zertsky being sold? I'm being told not. I'm being told, I've read and I've got some information as well about how Zertsky is still going to be sold. If it comes down to it, Zertsky will still be sold. Let me just bring up this. Here we go. Tuesday morning. Is it Tuesday? It is Tuesday morning. I swear I've lost track of days. Sunday was so emotional. I mean, I spent a couple hours just lying down, just taking it all in, thinking, wow, did that just happen? Did we just win away from home when we were expecting the worst, let's be honest? And we didn't just win away from home. We went down and then we came back and won. And I thought that was epic. I mean, not only just because of United's performance in the second half, but also knowing the fact that Crystal Palace have not lost in at Sellers Park for what? For like since Feb or something? Early Feb or something? That's a ridiculous amount of time for them having not lost. Anish, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you recovered from the weekend's game. Zertsky is pure quality. I'm guessing everyone's thinking that now. I mean, his goal was very, very good. Look, before the game, I've always said this. I've said this about Zertsky, and I stick with it. I've always said Zertsky, his technical ability, no one can doubt that. No one can doubt the way he plays, the way he kills the ball. His skill on the ball is very, very good. His technical ability is brilliant. The only issue I have with him, and that is something that can be coached, and that's the positive, which is his positioning. His positioning is not out-and-out striker, but he doesn't want to play it, I feel, as an out-and-out striker. He wants to play as a shadow striker, and his position is very much like, look, I want to drop back, pick up the ball, get involved in the play, pass things around, and then that's how I do it. That's how he wants to do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't really play out when we need an out-and-out striker. Obviously, he's replacing Sesko. He's not coming in for a shadow striker, so he needed that. He needed that goal. He needed the goal, and let's see. I mean, the post-match interview with him was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. He was confident. He's quite good like that. I like Zertsky because the way he's like, yeah, look, do you know what? I can. I'm going to kick on from here. He wasn't down in the dumps. He didn't take any shots at critics or fans or anybody. He was very much like, okay, look, do you know what? Yes, my form has been poor. I've not done well. And yes, look, I'm going to kick on from this goal. I'm going to do better now. So let's wait and see. Nick says we have to keep him in the team now. Keep him high up on the last defender. Yeah, keep him high up on the last defender. If he can do that, I think he survives. But the only issue I have with him is that as I've just brought up the breaking news, or that Manchester United will still listen to offers for Kobe Mainoo, Joshua Zertsky, Manuel Ugarte and Terrell Malacia in January. However, allowing any to leave before the end of the AFCON on January 18 would leave Ruben Amorim desperately short for players. So which one is it? I believe that United we'll still be listening to offers, despite what niche you believe and what I believe, that we need to keep hold of Manu and Zirkzee. I think personally, Malacia is definitely someone who I'd say let's sell Malacia, because he's not going to get a game. He's not going to get a game. We've got several players who can step into that left back or left wing back, whichever one. You've got Dogu, you've got Luke Shaw, and then Dalot. Dalot starting ahead of Malacia. That should tell you everything. And Dalot's not a natural left back, is he? Or Malacia should if he was in Ruben Amorim's plans, he would have been given the start by now, or he would have featured somewhere, but he hasn't. So I think definitely Malacia is someone who is going to definitely be sold if an offer does come in. And we know that United were trying to sell him in the summer transfer window, but it didn't happen. Ugarte, I'm not quite sure. I don't like him. I don't think he's good enough, but I feel like Ugarte might not be going anywhere, given the fact that we're still so light in the midfield. And there's talk about, the show later on, I will talk about the midfield options and what's going on with the players coming in. United looking at players, but there's red alert because there's lots of other clubs now jumping in for the same players that United have been talking about for months. Yes, guys, it's not going to be easy. And I've been saying it for time, that look, we're going to find it difficult. We're going to find it difficult because the fact that we've got these players in our mind, and we're thinking, oh, do you know what? We're gonna get these players, but no one else is gonna come in for them. Of course, everyone's gonna come in for them. Why did we think otherwise? But anyway, let's wait and see. Zirkzee is Nish says Zirkzee is a must keep. Is that Zirkzee saying Zirkzee is a must keep by Niche. Yeah, I mean, look, I agree. I agree. At this stage, we can't afford to lose another striker, another player who can play a strike. We've got Sesko. Imagine if we sell Zirkzee and Sesko gets injured again. What happens then? That's my biggest worry. And I've been saying to you guys, I was saying, whilst we were doing the watch along on the weekend, I was saying, look, we should have gone out and got another striker. We should have had another striker, out-and-out striker like Mateta, someone else who could come in. But if Zirkzee starts scoring, if Zirkzee starts keeping his position spot on, right on the side of the centre backs, then we know that we've got a striker on our hands, because his finishing ability we saw was absolutely on point, brilliant. Nish says I'm even going to sell Manu now. He's never ever going to play, so it's pointless as Amorim isn't going anywhere. Nish, we have to sign Baleba in January. Baleba in January, I mean, he is the one that lots of people are talking about, saying he could be the one that United sign in January, because he's the most likely to be signed. Anderson will never get, we will never get. He wants City. Well, let's move on to that story. Let's move on to the main story of the day, which is on these midfielders, guys, and we've had The Athletic come out and give us some further information on Anderson, Wharton and Baleba, and there's some interesting news coming out. Now, the news is that Man City are in for Anderson. Yes, we thought it was Liverpool. Liverpool are also in for Anderson. I'm telling you, Anderson is going to be hot property come the summer transfer window. Nottingham have said it, and I'm going to tell you guys like it is. He's not going to get sold in January, no matter what we want. I mean, ideally, we'd love for United to sign one of these guys. I mean, Baleba, maybe not so much, but the other two, yes. But even if the other two, like Wharton and Anderson, are unachievable in January, absolutely go and sign Baleba. Absolutely. But Anderson, look, it's going to be, even in the summer, I think we're going to be hard pushed to go and sign someone like Anderson because of the attraction from other clubs now coming in. We're talking about Man City, who are ready to drop a cool 100 mil plus on him. So are Liverpool, and we're hearing this morning Chelsea are making big strides as well. Chelsea are making big plans because they can see their strategy in the recruitment market or transfer market working. They can see it. We were all talking about Chelsea signing everything that was moving, and we were all about what's going on there. Why are they signing this kid called Estavio, and why are they signing this player or that player? But now you can see why. You can see exactly why, because we're talking about Estavio being worth over 100 mil plus and going to be the next Vinicius Junior, one of those next Yamals and things like that. So this is why. So their strategy is, all right, this is working. This is working. We are signing players that actually will be worth a lot more in the future. So they're going to double down on what they've already been doing. So we are hearing that could be the next approach. Let's go a bit. Neville, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. Neville says, what is it? This is, let me go back to what's Neville saying. Zertsky, no, let's go back even further. Yeah, so you're saying, let me just finish off. And Neville says, January, I think we should sign Gallagher. Anderson would be solid. Is looking to leave Atlanta, and we've been looking at him for years now. Baleba is in dreadful form. Would depend on price. I look at them, and I do think, do we? Baleba is someone that I look at and think he is in poor form, but is that just because he's not happy at Brighton and he's playing to get him sold? Do you get what I mean? So he's playing, he's thrown his dummy out and he's saying, look, I don't want to improve because the moment I improve, they're not going to sell me. So I want to leave. And apparently there was a talk about United having already agreed everything with Baleba in the summer. That doesn't surprise me. Everything was agreed and they just wanted him to come over, and United just didn't make the offer to Brighton because Brighton wanted way above what United were willing to pay, and they thought, well, there's no point even going in there with an offer because we're just going to get pie on our faces. We're just going to walk out looking like idiots, having not got our man. So they didn't put forward the offer. So that was why they didn't actually sign or even make an offer for Baleba. But I think that was the right move. I don't want them to kind of go after everybody, but Edison is a good option. Edison's a good option. I think I like the fact, Neville, I like what you've come with, because you're saying, and I like your approach to the transfer market, because you're being very reasonable with your options, and to some degree, I would say, yeah, them are the options that we're most likely to go and get in the January transfer window. We can't be talking about world-class signings knowing full well that we're going to struggle if we go and try and sign these players. We're not going to be able to get... We're not going to get Wharton. No way, unless something drastic changes. Crystal Palace will not want... I mean, you saw Glasner post-match against United. He was kicking off for not having signed more players. He was kicking off saying, I haven't got enough players. He was doing what Ruben Amorim's been saying, which is, look, how do you expect me to cook with this team when I've got a squad that's literally 11 players and that's it? I've got nobody else who I can bring on, who can change things. I'm struggling. The players are tired. You're expecting me to play in Europe. You expect me to do all this with this squad and I haven't got enough players. So he's kicking off. Can you imagine the board going to him and saying, oh, by the way, we want you to sell Mark Gui and we're going to sell Adam Wharton. He's going to leave. In fact, after that post-match press conference by Glasner, I felt like he was warning the board, Crystal Palace board, saying, I'm going to walk at the end of the season because his contract comes to an end. And I felt like he was saying, I'm going to walk if you do not back me up. If you do not in the January transfer window, if you do not go out there and get me players, I'm going to walk. And look, there's some managers who have got credit in the bank, and he's one of them. He won the FA Cup. He's done brilliant with Crystal Palace. They're cooking right now. If we're complaining and we're sat in what? Well, actually, we're third. We're a lot higher than we were, before last week. But if we're saying in the current position that United are in, we're saying, oh no, we need to add because we need to give Ruben Amorim his options because we're close to getting to Europe. Crystal Palace fans will be saying the same thing. We'll be saying the same thing, which is, look, we have got options. Nice says, I'd even play Zertsky in the cam role and Kuna in the 9. Yeah, that could work. For me, it's all about shifting things around, seeing what we can do. Neville says both are far more experienced and have big game experience. Baleba worries me mentality wise. If we go with Gallagher, then we could also afford Semenyo. We aren't getting any of those three minus Baleba. Well, unfortunately, look, Semenyo has been ruled out. I've heard from several sources now, and it's been reported well, I was going to say mainstream media, but it's been reported by a few others as well that this the whole the signing of Semenyo is unlikely to take place. United have said that they're going to be going for someone else other than Semenyo. They're going to be concentrating on the midfield. The priority isn't with getting someone from on the wings right now, unfortunately. I mean, Semenyo, I would have loved to sign because I feel like he's one of those players that we're not going to sign and we're going to then cry over for years to come. A bit like Declan Rice right now. I mean, you look at Declan Rice and you think, oh, United were interested. There was talks behind the scenes that United were going to make an offer, but United watched the deal happen with Arsenal and they just simply didn't make a move. They should have maybe convinced the player to join them. There could have been a possibility where Declan Rice could have joined us, but we didn't. So yeah, I mean, so I look at it and think, we're going to go for midfielders. No matter what we think, midfielders are going to be on our radar in the January window, and only midfielders. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that United will be concentrating. So the options like Gallagher, Edison, who else was it? There was Gomez from Wolves. These are options that United have explored and have got ready to go. So they've got them on the burner. They've got them ready. They will have to go to one of these players if the likes of Baleba falls through. The Anderson and Wharton, I think they're going to try in January, but they've already been told that it's unlikely that these clubs will sell. I think Wharton, very unlikely. Wharton is definitely unlikely to go anywhere. Anderson, on the other hand, I don't know why, I get this feeling that if a huge offer comes in for Anderson will be sold. But I'm not talking about huge offer from United, unfortunately. Unfortunately, United are not part of the equation when it comes to making huge offers. We know INEOS are not that, it's not their game. That's not the way INEOS roll, right? They're not going to make a huge offer. They're penny pinchers. They're going to look for cheap options to satisfy Ruben Amorim and keep him stump. That's what they're going to do. I know what's happening with INEOS. I know that they're making it, they're talking the big game, but when it comes to it, they're going to want to maybe just throw a few crumbs at Amorim and keep him stump for the rest of the season. So I feel like they will not want to spend big in the January window. And the reason why I say that is because behind closed doors, I don't feel like they're 100% convinced that giving this manager backing is the right choice. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that they feel like the jury's still out with Ruben Amorim. Yes, he's doing well so far, better than expected in the eyes of INEOS and Jim Ratcliffe. However, they still feel like they've put enough money into the squad. I know it's simply not enough. It's simply not enough, though. If they want Champions League football, they're going to have to pull their finger out and they're going to have to go hard in the January window. If it was me, I would be looking at least bringing in 2 midfielders, not just one. Let's not just say, someone like Gallagher or Anderson or even Baleba is even if they went and signed Blaber, I'd still want another backup option, a Gomez, an Anderson, Edison, or even a Gallagher, another centre mid as well, just in case. Neville, you are right, and Balaber's form doesn't improve, or we could have a complete transformation with Balaber, transforming into the player that we all saw last season. The guy was absolutely sensational. The question mark I have is, do players fall off that much? I mean, come on, this guy's like he's a shadow of himself, his past self. That's what it is. Neville says Zerski hits good form, then he'll be perfect to step in for Mbumo during the AFCON, especially with him being match sharp again. A big bonus if he's performing again. Neville, you're right. Anish and me were discussing this earlier on, as soon as the show kicked off, and we were saying how happy we were, with the performance of Zerski in the second half in particular. In the first half, let's be honest, it wasn't sensational. It wasn't brilliant. We were all questioning whether Zerski even deserves to be in the team. I was, for certain. I mean, after the performance against Everton, which again wasn't good, and then the first half against Crystal Palace, but maybe, just maybe, it was his match sharpness. Maybe it was that he was not sharp enough. He needed to get used to the gameplay, get back into Premier League football, and now he's back up to speed. In the second half, you saw his movement was a lot better. Someone must have, I believe someone sat him down in the half-time, or someone must have said to him, look, stop coming back. Stop coming back. You're not needed to be dropped. You don't need to drop back. We've got the likes of Mbumo to drop back, Mason Mount to drop back. You don't need to do that. That's not your job in today's team. Right now, you need to be the furthest man up, not Casemiro. So in the second half, you saw that he was the furthest attacker, and that goal, he made the first movement. You saw him run beyond the defence, and they weren't expecting that from him. And maybe that worked. Maybe that worked. That was it. Maybe he just needed that one extra yard where he just made that forward run, got the ball, and he did score from an impossible angle. I mean, when it went in, I was a bit like, wait, did that actually go in from that angle? No way did it go in. No way. So yeah, guys, that is the midfield. I was just summing up the midfield news. So Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Carlos Blaber, among the names being considered. We know they've been considered. So these are names that we know United want. They're on the top of the shortlist. Whether they will get them or not, I'm not quite sure. I think you're right, Anish. I think Blaber, if there is anyone coming in January, it would be Blaber. It would be Blaber. Now, on Casemiro, we've been told that Casemiro is expected to leave end of the season. He will leave. United are not looking to extend his contract. They already know that they might offer him a contract with more than half of his salary, less half his salary, and they know that that's not probably going to be something that he accepts. So it's almost like being respectful in offering him a contract, but they know that that's not going to be something that he accepts and says, oh yeah, I'll take it and I'll stick here in the Premier League, especially knowing that there's offers coming in, or potential offers coming in, from the Saudi League and elsewhere, where he could maybe cash out and say, well, look, I can go have a lot more easier games out in the Saudi League and get a big wage. I mean, it makes sense for him. It makes sense for him. And how long is he gonna go? We all know Casemiro. It's not just the club right now. Unfortunately, I would love to say he's doing this all for United, but he's not. Casemiro's doing this because of the World Cup round the corner. He's the captain of Brazil. He wants to feature at that World Cup. He wants to be part of that team. He wants to take him to success, and he wants to be at the peak of his performances. Hence why he's come back looking the way he has last season. Remember, he came back, it's like almost like who's at all the pies kind of thing. Do you get it? But he came back, he's looking a lot trim, and he lasted the entire game. So again, brilliant performance. but I feel like United are going to look to replace him with somebody else. Kobbie Mainoo's future is still uncertain. Apparently, he still wants out. And I agree with Nish where he's saying, look, maybe, just maybe, let him be, let him go, and let him have time out, and just either on a loan or just sell him outright if he's not gonna feature in Ruben Amorim's plans. And Ruben Amorim is insistent. I mean, he got a bit pissed. He got a bit pissed when asked the question about Kobbie Mainoo pre-match. Against Crystal Palace, and they were like, oh, is Kobbie Mainoo going to feature? You're saying that he's part of the team, but how can he compete against Bruno Fernandes, blah blah. And then and the World Cup's coming up, and Ruben Amorim turned around and he's like, well, I've got all the players are playing for the World, all the players want to be there, it's not just Kobbie Mainoo. So yeah, I think there's something that he doesn't like about Kobbie Mainoo. Not sure what it is, but he feels like he is not someone that can feature in Ruben Amorim's teams. Manuel Ugarte, Manuel Ugarte, let's see what happens with him. Let's go back to the comments. A few comments. Nell says, I love that we're making moves in South American market. Yes, hello Travis, yes, thank you. Sorry I joined late. I wanted to chime in with my unpopular Gallagher take, and Edison is right though. It's not unpopular. It's not unpopular, Neville. I've heard from quite a few fans about the same thing. There's some fans are being pragmatic. I'm a bit of both. I want United to just go and buy some top players. I'm a bit like Nish. I'm saying, well, look, if you're going to go and spend, 40 mil or 50 mil on a mediocre player like a Gomez or something, like he's brilliant, he's good, but he's not up there. He's not the most sought after midfielder in Europe. So if you're going to spend about 50 mil, 60 mil around that mark on a player like that, you might as well then add in another 20, 30 mil and go and buy someone who can really make things happen in that midfield. Someone who can grow into becoming a very good player for United. And I believe Ruben Amorim thinks the same thing. Ruben Amorim did say a few weeks back that, look, I do not want a short-term solution to the problem in the midfield. I want a long-term solution for the midfield. I want to bring in a young player who can develop into the very best. So when he's saying that, you know what he's thinking. He's thinking Baleba, he's thinking Anderson, he's thinking Wharton. Them are the three he's thinking about. Let's be honest. They're in the early 20s. He knows what he's looking at. He doesn't want to bring in anybody other than these three players. He knows if you're going to go and spend money, you might as well go and buy quality. That is the only thing I agree with him on. I think, well, yeah, look, if you're going to go and buy a player and in the midfield, you might as well go buy quality rather than focus on getting someone cheap, someone who's kind of doesn't fit the criteria, but you're kind of like thinking, oh, well, we're saving some money, let's bring him in. That does not bode well. We've seen that happen time and time again. Man United have got a lot of experience with signing players who don't fit into their positions or don't fit into the solution, don't really tick all the criteria, but they bring them in anyway, hoping that, oh, we'll squeeze them in, maybe they'll change, but they don't. And we know it. We've seen it many, many times. We have these players who come in and they just don't perform. They don't perform. And then we're like, oh, a year down the line or 2 years down the line, we're like, oh, it didn't work out. Why are we selling them? And so, look, we need to kind of focus on the players that we're looking at and go and get them. And let's not give up. Let's not give up and start thinking about, going after players that are not on our shortlist. I don't want to go after players that are simply not on our shortlist and we just panic bought them. I want to go after players that we know we've looked at. We know what they like. We know what they like off the field. We know their mentality, and we know that they can come in and actually do a job for us. That's the only thing that I'm after. Afternoon, Jim. Hope you're doing well. Nish says you're right. If they lose Wharton and Gui, He's got nothing to work with at all. And that's Glasner we're talking about. And yeah, look, I felt sorry for the guy after the game, because we're in our Man United bubble. So we don't really focus on what's going on around the league and what teams are struggling with and what's going on. But that was something that I looked at and I thought, whoa, do you know what? This is crazy. This is crazy because we're here crying about not having a midfielder. He's literally worried about losing everybody. It's crazy. It's crazy to even think about that. Nish says Semenyo would never come here. He'd have to play wing back, and now no one wants to play wing back. Not Semenyo. Not when you're scoring that many goals. You do not want to join a club and be put in a defensive position. Nobody wants to play in that position, and unfortunately, if that is something that was told to him in the summer, no wonder he didn't join. No wonder he didn't want to join United. I mean, imagine Ruben Amorim sitting there telling Semenyo, someone who's going forward, scoring goals, and he's saying, "Oh, do you know what? I want to play you as a wing back." Semenyo must have thought, right, you keep your ideas to yourself. Thank you very much, but I'm not going to come to United. I'm not coming to United if you're going to play me there. I'm a goal scoring machine right now. It's very likely he's going to go off to Liverpool. Very, very likely. I just feel like he's Liverpool after selling Luis Diaz haven't really replaced anyone like for like. And they've missed him. They've missed a winger on that side, creating more problems. Gakpo isn't that player. He's decent, but he's not someone like who's going to cause and get a lot of goals. He's decent, but not in my eyes, not someone brilliant. Jim says, Niche, we can't buy Baleba on form of last season. He's got to improve in this next month. I think so. I said, Jim, what do you think about the idea of him playing the way he is just to get out of the club? Because I was saying the same thing. I was like, oh, Baleba, nah, I'm not going anywhere near him. Look at the current form he's in and blah blah. And then one Man United fan, he goes to me, yeah, but what would you do? What would you do if you want out? Would you be playing world class football if you want out of the club? Of course you don't. You'll be playing, you'll be refusing to play, and that's what he's doing. And he's saying, "Oh, look, it's working out for United because United can. His price has already gone down. So this is brilliant news for United if he carries on playing. He does, but I'm not sure whether." Then I thought, all right, is he faking it? Is he faking it? Can a player really go out and play bad deliberately? I guess he can, but then, if he's faking it, what does that show about his mentality and his professionalism? We've got Mark Gui on the other side, whose deal fell through the last minute. Last minute, his deal fell through at Liverpool. He was literally off to his medical, but he kind of shrugged it off and he's back playing his very best football. But yeah, Mark Gui, apparently Real Madrid are looking at him. So I mean, I don't think he's off to. He's not off to. Liverpool at this rate. He's not off to Liverpool. Neville says, facts about Semenyo, it's one of those ones that feels too good to ignore, but I think I heard that Semenyo is almost definitely not happening in January, certainly. My point was just if we go for Gallagher. Yeah, look, Semenyo definitely not happening. Definitely not happening. All the noise is coming out. Semenyo, number one, is an Arsenal fan. That's number one. So if Arsenal get involved, they can sign him. Now, it depends on whether Arsenal will make the move for him, because Arsenal probably looking at him thinking, we've got Martinelli, we've got Trossard, maybe Trossard could be sold. He's decent, he's not brilliant for them. Martinelli, again, hasn't featured a lot. He's played 1 or 2 games. I think he scored on the weekend for him. Or did he? No, he didn't score on the weekend, but I think it was the... was it? No, it wasn't. He didn't score. He didn't score on the weekend. But... It was Moreno. Yeah, it was Moreno who scored. But Martinelli did feature in the game, I think. But Could they do with a new winger? Maybe. If Arsenal want to be greedy and they're like, let's double down on making sure we go and win the league, they could go and sign Semenyo. And look, let's be honest, they can afford it. They can afford it. He can go to the board and say, look, we're this close to going and winning the league. We can go and win the Champions League as well, but let's double down. Let's go and get some more players. Semenyo's come up. Let's go and do the deal. And I can see that happening. I can see, especially if the rumours are true and that he is a Arsenal fan. That's what it is. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy either way. Either way, I think it's going to be one of those things that is going to break the internet, isn't it? Everyone's going to be talking about Semenyo in January. Nice says, let's sign Baleba, Gallagher in January. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. If you told me right now that United have gone and signed Baleba and Gallagher, I'd take that. To be honest with you, right now, I'd take most midfielders. I wouldn't be too happy if we went and signed maybe, say, just Gallagher on his own, and they've just done the cheap option. They've just gone and looked for the cheapest option and got him, and that's it. I wouldn't be happy, but I would be happy if United went and got two midfielders of that caliber, because we know Baleba is a good player. I refuse to believe that he's lost all his flipping form and touch. Sorry, his touch, his class. Class is permanent. I just feel like something's not right in his head, and can he come to United and sort it out? That's what it is. But the risk is there for definitely. I agree with Jim, because I feel like there is a danger. There is a danger, and having watched him, say for instance, if someone offered me the option of Baleba or Anderson, or Baleba or Wharton, I would hands down take Wharton. I would hands down take Anderson over Baleba. But then if someone offered me the option of Baleba and maybe say Gomez from Wolves, I would end up taking Baleba, despite his current form, despite that question mark over him. I would probably still be like, oh, I don't know. I'll have to think about this one. Neville says, yeah, but I like you say, INEOS will be dragged kicking and screaming if they sign anyone in Jan. I really think it will be Gomez or Gallagher, if anyone. Baleba if Brighton bring the price down massively. I think Brighton will have to come to the table. I think it would be complete suicidal from Brighton to carry on with Baleba, because let's be honest, come January, United will probably not sign Baleba then. No one will sign Baleba. So they'll have a player on their hands who's even more upset, even worse, because if he's faking it or if he's doing this as a spiteful move towards Brighton, there's no chance he's going to improve. He's going to be like, all right, I don't give a crap now. I don't give a crap. You've ruined my entire career. You ruined my big move to United. He's on next to nothing in salary, by the way, as well. I think he's on like 30k a week, which is nothing for a Premier League player. And of course, he'd probably double that if he comes to United or any other club. But I think he'd be very upset. But come the summer, United will be like saying, well, now that we've gone through our rough patch from January to the end of the season, when we really were desperate in needing a midfielder, now let's wait and see. Let's see. We've got other options. Now we can go and work on a deal for Anderson or Wharton, or look around Europe for other midfielders like Stiller, Angelo Stiller. I was reading something earlier today on Angelo Stiller being another option for United. I was hearing that United could still sign Angelo Stiller. This is it. Just in, if Manchester United hierarchy can unlock some funds, the club could make a move for one of their key targets. Let me just go back. Here we go. Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba and Angelo Stiller in January. Only Stiller seems to be the likely and affordable next month. I don't believe that. I'm bringing the news to you, but I don't believe that Stiller is a likely option. I've reported to you already that Stiller is someone that Real Madrid have tapped up, and if that deal fails with Real Madrid, there's another club who are watching him very carefully, and you know who it is. It's another giant German club that always sweeps up any young talent in the Bundesliga, and that is, of course, Bayern Munich. They're watching him as well. So if it comes to it, I just can't see him wanting the move. I just can't see him wanting the move to United over maybe an easier move to Bayern Munich and an easier move to Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid, if they come knocking, you're going, aren't you? 100% Ugarte and Malacia are just a waste of money every passing week. Right now, I think Manu will be satisfied with a loan. We'd have to see, but if we can upgrade more, could get a good whack for him. Neville's responding to, I believe, Niche here. So Niche has said, sell Malacia, Manu, Ugarte in January. I agree with that. I'm happy with that. If it comes down to it, I know with Manu it's a difficult one, but I'd rather have Manu leave happy and go and play football and enjoy himself than stay at United and get wasted, because that's the worst thing. I mean, not only is it bad for Manu, it's bad for the club, and it's bad for the youngsters that are looking at how Manu's being treated. So any academy player or any player that's looking to join United as a young player, that he's looking at and probably thinking, why would I want to join United? Because look what they do to their young players. They screw them over. So I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna. So that's why I feel like, I think Manu, if it comes down to it, if we have to, we should sell him. We should sell him. Because it's the way it is. I think if it is true, Niche, I don't want him. Can't rely on him. So that's Baleba, I believe. Baleba and Gallagher would be so cheap. Neville says the two of them combined in terms of wage would be what Joe Gomez would be demanding at least. He's currently on 100k. That's crazy amount of money that he's on. Absolutely 100k. For João Gomez is ridiculous. Absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy money for someone who's playing in a team that's more than likely it looks like he's going to get relegated unless something really dramatically changes at Wolves. Baleba being on 20 and Gallagher on 80. Gallagher's a bit expensive, but I think United, maybe if they negotiate something with him, they can get him. I think that's not too bad. I think, I think that's pretty good. I think that I'd be happy with that. But we'd have to increase Baleba's salary as well. Niche says, Jim, I understand, but I think he's justified in what Baleba's doing. There was talk of him being over 100 mil last season. He's on 20k. Why would he risk injury before he gets the big move? Look, if you're getting paid that much money when you were arguably the best midfielder last year in the Premier League, which is no mean feat, right? It is, to be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League takes some balls and takes some skill. I think that there's. I can see where he's coming from. I don't like that he's not being professional, though. I would have liked for him to say, look, okay, I'm going to carry on doing what I'm good at. And whoever turns up, turns up. But I also think that if he was still on his current form that he was on last season, United wouldn't be in the lead to sign him. Let's say it like it is. United will get blown out the water by a Chelsea or a Liverpool if Baleba was still hot property. Chelsea, there's too many bloody clubs with too much money right now. That's the problem. We are in a pricing war, a bidding war with people or clubs. We've got so much more money than us. We're talking about taking lunch money away from staff, where these guys are spending millions of pounds on buying players that they don't even need in their squads. Like, look at Liverpool, look at Arsenal, look at Liverpool. I mean, Chelsea, look what they've done. They don't even need half. I mean, Chelsea, look at their bloody squad. I mean, they could feature a B team out and still look like they've got their best players out. And so, yeah, Blaber would want 120 a week, and Con 100. I'd pay those wages all day long. Shaw is on 200 a week. I don't think Blaber would want 120. I think Blaber would like to probably double his salary. So I think you're looking at about 80 to 90k. But I mean, even at 120, yeah, you're probably right. Look, the salaries that we're paying the players right now are ridiculous at United. But I would like Blaber to actually prove himself before he can, before he's on the big whack, before he's on the big whack. Personally, that's what I would. And I'm against paying players huge amount of salaries anymore, man. I feel like they just, because they've got no incentive to work hard. They've got the salary, they've got everything they need, so they just sit back. Even if they're playing shit, they just see out their contract. And how many times have we seen that over the recent years, where players come in, play absolutely dreadful, they have one good season, then after that they play shit, and then they've got no incentive to work. And unfortunately, let's be honest, players, if they have no incentive, they don't work hard enough. Right now, the form that we're seeing from certain players like Luke Shaw, and many people are questioning it and saying, well, this is because they want to break into the international teams. That's why they're giving what they're doing, giving their all at United. It's not because they are there fighting for United. It's because they really want to impress for the World Cup. Neville says the fact that we pay Shaw that much and he only looks worth it when England. All right, okay, he caught me. Neville always does this to me. When England calls up up for grabs, drives me mad. He's been very good lately, and I have to give it to him. But he chooses when he plays. Yeah, spot on. As I just said it, you took the words out of my mouth. I mean. I feel like Casemiro suddenly starts playing really well, starts looking like he's been on the cross trainer for months. He's just gone lean. He looks like a different player from the seasons before. Why? Where's that incentive suddenly come from? We've not given him more in salary suddenly. We've not said anything else to him. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing incentivized him from United's point of view. But it is from what the international side is looking like. He wants to be the team captain. He wants to play for Brazil, and he wants to show that he's capable of playing. That's what it all comes down to. That's what it all comes down to. What else have we got? We've got lots going on in the chat, guys. Lots going on. It's crazy. Sunday was vindicating for Amorim, I'm sure. I mean, look. Amorim made some good calls. I'm not a big fan of Ruben Amorim and what he tactically does when we're playing matches, but I felt like on Sunday he did exactly what most fans were screaming out. Well, I was like, do not take off Casemiro. Do not do that. We know what happens. And the substitutions he made, he took off Lenny Euro. We knew Lenny Euro was struggling, and yes, he was upset at the end of the game, but I felt like it was the best thing to do. You'd rather take him off and protect him rather than leaving him out there and him getting done over again and really shattering his confidence. And the whole fan base then turn on Lenny Euro. Right now, he's had a bad game. We all feel sorry for him. We're all like, Lenny Euro, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You've got time. You know. But imagine if he'd left him out there and he'd screwed something up and Crystal Palace went and scored another goal or 2 goals. We would all be on his back. We would all be saying like, okay, he's not good enough and he's this or he's that. You know, he would be getting a lot of criticism. So right now, I think, yeah, that was a good move from him. I like that. I like that. Neville says, think about Baleba is the mindset worries me. Think about if he's is cooking for United and say Real Madrid. Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head with why players need to remain professional. If they do it once, they're gonna do it twice, and that's why I'm I'm really cautious when it comes to moving forward for players who do not remain professional. When they're handing a transfer request and like, I want out, and we've seen it with Isaac. Look what happens, man. Look what happens. Anyway, coming back to the comment Neville made and says Real Madrid came calling, then he's gonna down tools for us for a season. Professionalism, exactly. Yeah, absolutely spot on. I mean. We've seen it. We've seen examples of this in the past. We're not new to football here, guys. I know that you guys watching, commenting, you guys are knowledgeable football fans. From what you come out with on a daily basis, when you're joining in and you're making you're looking at analysing things, you know a lot about football, every single one of you. So look, we've seen this before. We've seen players who do this, come over to United, and sooner or later they throw the dummy out, and then it's the same player again. And we're saying, why the hell did we touch this toxic player in the first place? Why did we go for him? Why did we bother? Why is it? And Jim says, if Baleba is faking it to get out of the club, that's unforgivable. If he can do it to them, he can do it to us. Untrustworthy. Yep. That's it. That's what it is. That's what it is. But anyway, niche with Jim. If he wants wages, that reflects his transfer. Yeah, double-edged sword, isn't it? So I can see where niche is coming from. You're saying, well, look, why would he try? Because he's not being paid enough. But niche, the only problem I've got with that is he was on that contract before. He was on that contract before United came in for him. He should have renegotiated that in any event. I'm sure he did it, in fact. I'm sure before the summer transfer window, I'm sure there was some talk about him renegotiating something, and he had just signed with a new contract with Brighton. I'm not sure. I might have got it mixed up with another player, but I heard that that's what happened. I mean, Neville says, I completely get you, Jim. That was my gut reaction. But if we can get him in January for cheap, because we know he can play, we know Gallagher can play in the Prem. Look, if we can get Baleba in Jan, let's not mince our words. We'd take him. We'd take him with open arms. Despite everything and despite all the worry, we would take him. We would take him. We're desperate. We're desperate. We can't allow this situation to continue. And it's beyond Ruben Amorim's control, by the way. He's not in charge of bringing in the Blabers or the Whartons or the Andersons. He requested this to happen a long time back. He requested from the board that he needs a midfielder. That was before Sesko got signed. Ruben Amorim was after a midfielder. He was saying, look, forget everything else, I need a midfielder. Forget everything else, I need a midfielder. It was the board as a majority decided, right, Sesko's come up. Christopher Vell pushed that idea on the board and said, look, we need to sign Sesko because he's a young talent. He's going to be another Haaland. We can't let him slip out of our hands. If he goes to Newcastle, look what Liverpool are now paying for Isaac. And that's the example he put forward. He said, look, we can sign him for a lot less, in another couple of seasons. Once he goes off to Newcastle or somewhere else, he could be valued over 100 mil. Do we want to do that then? No. So that's what convinced the board that this is a good investment. And I still feel it is. I still feel like he will come good. He will come good. Let me go back to the comments with Neville. Stiller is my dream signing from the shortlist. I agree Stiller isn't going to leave Stuttgart in January, and if he does, it'll be to Bayern or Real Madrid. We'd be silly to not get involved though. Any chance of signing the guy? We should go in there. He is class. He is the problem. A lot of people don't know of him because he doesn't play in the Premier League, and that is a question mark whether he can do what he does out in the Bundesliga, in the Premier League. But this kid, he's got it all. He's got it all. He's complete. When they say complete midfielder, he is a complete midfielder. Can go forward with the ball, can finish as well. But he's just complete in the sense of his passing is on point, his defending is very good, his decision making, his composure in the middle of the pitch is so good. I mean, but I cannot see, unless Real Madrid are not willing to pay what Stuttgart ask, I cannot see him going anywhere else. Unfortunately, but I still feel, yeah, United need to get involved. Maybe throw a spanner in the works. We did that again with Lenny Euro. We got Lenny Euro with him already being looked at by Real Madrid. So it was Real Madrid against Man United, and United came up trumps. So let's go again. Let's go again. I say, why not? Why not? Why can't we? Why can't we go and get it done? Get it done. And Neville says, I'm interested in to see him at the AFCON for sure, and how he gets on. I believe this is Baleba. We're right to discuss the mentality issues though, but we have made the leg work already. We've done most of it. Yeah, we have got agreement in place with him. It could be time to swoop in. I agree. He's what's this? Niche says, I guarantee he goes to AFCON and looks like the Terminator for Cameroon. If he does, that's great news. I mean, if he does, that's great news. I mean, if he looks like the Terminator, then we know we've got our answer, haven't we, Niche? We've got our answer. And then, yeah, I mean, we need to go and sign him. We cannot wait around. We cannot wait around for letting someone else come in and say, do you know what? Just kind of, yeah, do whatever. So yeah, okay, cool. What is it? This is Neville. If Baleba is brought in, he has to be on 40k a week max with the incentive bonuses. Menu is on 20k right now, and arguably similar hot property. They have to respect we have a wage structure. Yeah, I wouldn't offer huge amounts to Baleba. I wouldn't, because he knows he's coming for like a big club. He's coming for that big move. But I don't think we should give it to him on a plate. The moment we give it a young player everything on a plate, we know everything goes completely south. And that is my issue. That is my only issue. I look at it and think, do we really go and sign young players and start throwing them, throw all this money at them for no reason? They need to prove themselves. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a day there. It's gone over an hour. I just said, look, I'm going to do it half an hour show just to catch up with everybody. I will be back tomorrow once again around the same time, and we'll be looking ahead to the big game. Remember, we've got a game midweek, Thursday. We've got the game that we'll be discussing everything about that, the fallout from Lucas Paqueta as well, everything to do with West Ham, where they are they going to be a challenge for United, or will United be able to go and kick on? It's going to be massive. It's going to be a massive game. Another game that is going to be crucial to United's future successes, and and hopefully we can come up trumps. We're going to be doing watch along. We're going to all kind of see what happens, but I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you to everybody, Neville, Jim, Nish, everyone who's been commenting, everybody who's been watching, by the way. Make sure you hit the like, and make sure you subscribe. If this is the first time you're watching, we do lots of content like this. You're going to love it, so make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll be back again. You are watching the Man United Stream channel, a channel by the fans